As I say, welcome and peace to those who are still holding on to the rope of the Most High. We have some words that need to be expressed. For those of you who are in purgatory or in limbo, there's many things that need to be expressed, need to be explained. As we had a close encounter with the truth that was not given to us, but lies, scraps, false intentions, actors, liars, harlots, people that was around us with a slave mentality. And one must know and take time. When we say slave mentality, we're saying slavitude in its worst fashion. For those of you who have taken an oath of Shahada and profess to be Muslims, ones of peace, those who have went to what we call the church and got baptized and perceived to be saved. There's a lot of information that you must utilize as far as coming together, unity, as far as gathering amongst and living for, by, and with each other, which means that idle talk, vain conversation, meeting what they call friends down the road. We don't do that. We live for, by, and with each other. We think for, by, and with each other. We protect for, by, and with each other. So what happened was, many years ago, many before you were born, many have left and returned because energy cannot be destroyed and we recycle. And this is the main reason why people are led into temptation of a false reality, are put on ships, scholarships, and transported to university cities, college, which means to come together. The word collage in college means to come together. Those who have passed the 12 as in zodiac, and prior to zodiac represent the animalistic stages, and the Dendera was the star map for astrology and astronomy, and what we call Isra. Isra was to look up, observe the luminary, the lights in darkness, and that was cut off. The words of the scriptures that was written by the prophets, which they call Rasul. And if you look at the word Rasul and you see the word user, the word user is the same word as Rasul, spelled backwards. going backwards, they call it dyslexia, the lex, or deal with the unknown, or going in the wrong direction, which we call counterclockwise, which is the spin-off of the 360 degrees going into symmetry of the next 361 and going in expansion. So there are many, many things that we must stop and look at those around you. What position have you put yourself in? As far as what situation are you now in? When you say salam, salam, what are you saying? If you're saying peace, why would you have to explain what is peace? See, these words were given to many as a distraction. When you have guidance for your duplication that they call chilled Ren or frozen Nor, energy that is resistant. When you have information and information is not utilized properly, what happens is that it becomes an obstacle over a period of time. As we once explained before, that if you offset out the groove by an inch over a period of time, you be way off the mark. That's why you have to nip it in the bud as fast as you can so people can stay on track, which is called surat. Which is called surat, which is called the path. It's called many different things. It's called surat, it's called the path, it's called many different things. Okay, so basically what happened, we're going back now 30 years. A lot of you were not even here. Those that were here and that are still here have stopped and stunted their growth. That's because of expansion. If you say you lived in the projects for 30 years, day after day, and you got a job and you're going and you're coming back, you're paying your bills, or you're paying not a lot of bills, or the rent that you have is not that much, you have not expanded. You were put in a situation that was monitored to keep you from expansion. So many of you say, well, what are you talking about? There was no way. And you're absolutely right, because of the fact that people did not listen. Everybody was taught in the programming center that they call schools to do them. This is now called self-flesh. When you self-flesh, your body is in control. You want this, you want that, you want to look like this, you want to look different. And then when you look at the word different, you see DI. And when you see DI, difference. So you want to divide yourself from everyone else. You want to look different, diversify. You want to stand out. And many of those that I walked with, they wanted to be leaders, or they was taught that they were leaders, but they led themselves into the slaughter. You have those that you may think is great, actors, singers, sports, basketball, boxing, football, hockey, tennis. These were all distractions that you now hold dear to. These are now normalized. This was not the way for our survival, and it was not the way for our continuation. So once they went off the path and left the church and went into what they call the secretarial, or the sect or division of singing commercially and having contracts with other tribes of people. Once people fell out the norm of a tribe and went into what they call race and ethnic groups, then 50 years down the road, what I'm saying is considered to be old times. So what happens is now you have a doctor, not of your tribe, not of your concern, but someone who wants to make money to pay their bills, their big houses. So everything is for the money. But people don't see that. They think everything is fine because of what we call conversion or conversation. Converse, saturation, conversation, converse action, listening. The list ends when they speak and talk. Torque, torque. Google it, stop it, and Google it. Torque. Then talk. All of these words are signals, vibrational tones that brings images and defines, or what they call definition is what we call death of a nation. That nation was the collective of those who were chosen by the angelic realm, who created life, as you call it, but it's called Hayat. And if you don't know that it's called Hayat, then everything about life, you fall into the trap. If you don't know why the 10 Commandments and the commandments of Moses and the many names of Moses throughout the timeline of words, then you don't know exactly what happened. And when you don't know what happened, you're not in the now. You're not active. You're considered to be on the process of death. You're not dead, but you're on the road of death. This is why I have, if you will see some of my teachings, it says the death dance. Dance was the shortened version of the word guidance, The word guide is the word, what we say, not God, but it goes to God. But the word was guide, and it was Huda. It was the guidance of the God, which was Guma, which is Guma, Uz, in the book. Acronyms that they use the word God, that those who were considered to be Greeks or Hyksos, the Hyksos of the Greeks, which was all melanated. Now we talking about people who are melanated, and we're not talking about people who evolved and was not given the melanation. We're not talking about people who have fur, or what they call floppy straight hair. Fur that's not 90 to 9 hair, and it's for a reason. They're considered to be part of the Adama Project, and those who were chosen was giving a special blessing called melanation today, pigmentation at one time. And with this melanation, also called pigmentation, there's many factors. So today what you have, people agreeing because of their programming. You have people who don't have the right rituals, so they're not right. And if they're not right, they're off the path. This path that I'm speaking of may seem strange, but it is utilized in what they would call religion. We never had a religion. We had what is called a way of us doing things. And people who've seen what we did, they said, well, you know what? If I can convince people that I'm doing what they're doing, I'm part of what they're part of, and we make it a little bit easier, or what we say, easy or lazy. Easy or lazy. And is it Lazy or Easy? The Z and the S, almost the same sound. So the what they call the compass, which measures the circle, and the square, which represents the measurement of angles, was used to create tone, or what they call words. Letters combined brought about certain tones, and then these tones, a, ba, ha, da, a, fa, ja, ha, all these put together would have what they call a meaning. So when you say meaning, and if I was to go on, you heard meaning, oh, meaning, I know it. What does the word meaning mean? What does it mean? Who created these letters, MEAN? And why did they put the M to the E to the A to the N? You don't know. I'll give you an example of, you read something about the scriptures, you read something about Moses, and they say they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. That is the same thing that I'm saying. You have wandered away from the truth for 40 years. So some people say, well, at that particular time, I was given advice, I was given the knowledge, so I consider myself a master teacher. Okay, where did the word master come out, and who created the word teacher? So you say, well, that's my master teacher, or that's my elder. Where did you get the words from? You don't know. So as in the 40 years in the wilderness, the 40 years back, within say, we say 1960, if I would say 1960, that would be 60 years ago. You were introduced so you would become a part of the people who abused you, who put you into slavery. So they said, well, we're going to act like we like these people, and we're going to bring them into our world and put them on a different level, which is called the caste system. Lowercase, uppercase, or capital letters, lower case level, case workers. Schools, subjected to the teachings of others. You ran away from your cultivation, the things that you needed to be successful. So today, you have people say, well, you know what? I've been to the best of schools. I've learned that. And I want to be better than them. I know I can do it. You're going in the wrong direction. The things that you're doing don't make no sense. You have not did the research. Okay, say cleansing. If you Google how many people have died because of the hand sanitizer alone, that is a weapon. We upon them. The word weapon means we upon. That is a weapon of destruction. Okay? It's other things, clothing, dye in clothing, the chemicals in clothing, dye, the chemicals in clothing from the cleaners going onto your body, and the body in absorb chemicals that is slowing down your who you are. The things that you consume is slowing down who you are. Is called pause. Slow. Pause the sun, the light, the energy that you be. But to those who live in a happy life and flip the script, because you had to do or the don't do, to be or not to be, to fight back or to absorb and be converted to the teachings of the lies that you accept. So after 50 years of not knowing, and you accepted these lies, you ran from the truth, you took an oath to be something that you had no idea what it was about. And then when someone told you the truth of how that particular movement, that particular religion was infiltrated, Christianity infiltrated, Judaism infiltrated, Islam infiltrated, and you say, well, that's what I want to be because I used to be. No, you were not what they called you. They called you Muslim. So you say, I'm a Muslim. You were not what people call you. You were more than that. That's why it says to learn from the cradle as a baby unto a china, because you can learn many things. Actually, you can learn from those who don't know, and you can be an example not to be like them. So as I come out of what we call, I would say they would call it a coma, or they would say a vegetative state, because of those who were greedy and those who were uncaring, but it looked like they paid attention. But when someone grows out their body frame, their knees is buckling, they cannot run around the corner. The word run, R-U-N, is the word gnaw, N-U-R. So when you cannot run, you cannot gnaw. The word gnaw means energy. So you cannot take in and utilize the free energy that surrounds you, that's within you. Your system, the bodily system, has now been deactivated. Longevity has been taken away because now you consumed, you didn't exercise, you didn't get full range motion of the body. So they call it fat. They call it cellulose. But to make matters very clear, it's overweight. But they say weight, and then when you look at it, your mind look at weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, and it says we aight. We aight. You know, so it's a trick word. They said, well, these are what other tribes of people did. They fatten to kill. They're fattened to kill. In the mountains, if you put in West Virginia mountains, people eating people, you will see in the wintertime, they ate the fattest person to stay alive. That was normal. West Virginia state, USA. Hillbillies, we call them hillbillies. The hillbillies got out the hills and started coming down with the people. They ran to the hills so they can do things that were not set by the ordinance of the cities. They would be unlawful. They would do the things animalistically. So there's many things that when people eat and consume and don't exercise and consume, they are being fattened up for the kill. There's a lot of things that we can talk about, like who's monitoring when you're all over the place and has no base. So what I decided to do, they took away the land, and guess what? We got new land. And right now, I'm the man on the land. And the land is in the middle of the cage that they call United States of the Midwest, the archway, which we call the gateway of the spiritual. So what is spiritual? Let me just say real quick what this spiritual thing is. Spiritual is for those looking in. We are not spiritual people. We are etheric beings. So we're etheric, a different type of what it is. It's not even energy. If you say En, that means N. If you say Er, that means fire. So it's not energy. They want you to say energy. So then to put the energies together, they put SY, put synergy. SYN, synergy. They create these words to keep you away from who you truly are. And for many years, I have not said anything because I was analyzing. It's called sabor, having patience with the patient, being patient with time, understanding that we are time, we are Father Time, understanding that we are the weather, understanding that we are the water, we are the wind, we are the etheric beings. And when you classify yourself as a people, you might as well say you're a pebble, a dense. This densehood, it relates to the self flesh that you are, because you have no truth. And we look at the true, TRU, you see the RU, the R and the U is Ru, which is a part of the etheric. So the things that I'm stating, for those who used to have a part of the introductory, they were introduced to this and then they left. They left it and they did other things. And then they got connected with what we call, I'm trying to get a good word as far as, you could say kafa, covering the truth. But it's not, you could say manafikun, once you learn something, don't do it. But what people started doing was hiding the truth. We used to say covering the truth. But if you don't know the truth, it's very hard for you to realize and say, well, what are they covering? They started to be untruthful. And those who took a secret oath into secrecies, you have secret societies, males and females. You have secret societies. And these secret societies, they thought they had it made in the shade because they was given privilege. They had good jobs. They were getting money every week. But they changed the plan. They changed the plan. And now they sitting in their homes. They cannot go abroad. There was punishment, was this thing called COVID in 19. It's a plan that was made in 1983, which was called Alpha Amero Plan in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And it was a plan of eliminating humans. So those in the scientific field, they are programmed to say what they say. People don't understand that people are robots, but they're fleshly robots. And now they're trying to utilize robots with metal so they can endure other things. They have robots now that can give birth. They have robots now that can patrol policies, police. They have thinking robots as far as computers. It is a robotic stage that we're in now. So those who took the lead and was leading us into the slaughter, those who were in secret societies, Masons, and what they call it, Eastern Stars, even those who thought they had a higher privilege, fraternities, sororities, in the college or the college, they're now seeing that it was a scam. It wasn't the truth. It wasn't what we do. It was something that they had conformed to. So being that what's going on now, you have the elderly like 80 years old. Now they're going, running and take the shot because for so many years they were taking flu shots and swine flu, and all the other shots that they were taking. They was having doctors. We are here to learn to doctor ourselves. We don't need no doctors. We don't need to go nowhere. But the time that we're spending in studying and learning is inadequate. We spend more time. And I say we, so I'm going to not say we, I'm going to say you, because I don't do these things. So basketball, hockey, baseball, not just watching it, being involved in it. This is a useless time, wasted time. You need to understand the movements of the Constitution, the movement, state constitution, federal constitution, city ordinances, and learn how not to get fined. People say, oh, I'm fine. You're fine because you're getting tickets. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine because I feel better. People believe that you are supposed to get sick. You're not supposed to get sick. No, you're not supposed to get sick. So you say, well, is it a perfect world? Yes, it could be. We prefer, when you talk about perfection, you're talking about what we prefer. We prefer to live healthy. So people say, well, I got money. What am I going to do with it? When people got money, they just spending it because money is the permission for you to do other than what you're supposed to do. Money is the permission for you to do other than what you're supposed to do because you don't know what to do. You know what you know, and that particular know is N-O. You do not have the information, informed action to be who you are supposed to be. This is something that you were born into sin, and you consider that normal. You waste time and you think it's fine. But what's going to happen real quickly is that many of you're gonna be gone. I didn't like to do what they call projections, predictions to predict this. But the people now, those that they went so far off the path, they don't plug themselves in with the earth, put their head to the ground. They don't understand that the earth, the body is the earth, and the body must be connected to the earth. And then the etheric forces, you have to be connected with the grid of the etheric forces. I would say, well, what are you talking about? That is the problem. So they had Islam. So Islam was the last prophet before the new energy or the new etheric forces was to come back, and it was with what they call the prove it or prophet, which is the word Nabi or the word Rasul, right? And from there, the offspring, the family line of Adam, Moses, Abraham, Solomon, what they call Jesus or Isa. All this was one connection. It wasn't everybody. Just like if you notice the people that has power or people that's overpower, right, is a family line. They don't go outside the family line. Just as we don't go outside the family line. And those who try to come into our family by trickery, or those who do things that is not allowed, you're not in the family anymore. You can have the name, but you're not going to have the inner peace. You're not going to have the the, the affirmation, the information. You're not going to be able to have the rituals, and you're not going to know what we're talking about. And that's what's happening now. So the things that I'm saying to you is not for those. I'm not trying to save your life. I'm not the savior. I'm the sayer. It's a difference. I'm not here to say, well, I want you to do this, or I don't care. That's not, that part is already given out. You can Google me in other times and you'll get more information if that's what you like. But right now, we enter the key, we look at the screen, you'll see the key up there. You see the translator who came and went around the world getting other facts as people come here. This is the melting pot, and we have a lot of information. Just to give you an example, my tribe, from my tribe, we got people from north, we got people from south, we got people over there in the west coast, we got people in the east coast, the Midwest, we got people in Canada, we have people everywhere in every state. We have people in Sudan, we have people in Morocco. This is family members. We have family members from Panama. We have family members from Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Mexico. So when I was talking about the bloodline, and then we were talking about people that snuck into the bloodline, right? Is a difference. Because you can sneak into a bloodline, just like, okay, just say my duplication. My duplication is protected. My duplication may tell you something and you may benefit from it or you may not. But it's not who we are. It is what they call almost like clones. It's a difference. I'm the original. See, my mother was the original also, but that was for her who she is. I am a different. I have no father. I have no mother. It's a difference. Those who came after me, through me, they have a father, and they have someone as an overseer. It, it gets real complicated about what's going on. But as far as what I came to say today is that a lot of people are not doing the right thing. And what you put in over the years is what you get. And I came back, people was like, whoa, are you seriously? Are you back? I'm back. And I'm actually back on the original path. See? And those people have taken an oath to teach you what I'm teaching you. They took advantage of you. They went for self-flesh. They went for vain imagination. They went for the pleasure of the mind. Drugs, intoxication. It's like when I talk about intoxication and tox is into the X, intox. The X was the plus, the X was the unknown, and the unknown is what I came to explain. So when people talk about, when you do the sacrament and you go to the pineal gland, and from the pineal gland you start to travel, interdimensional travel. But where are you going? For what reason are you going? When you were dispatched down to Earth, we're talking about the new energy, and we're talking about from 1970 to 77. That's the first impact. Okay, a lot of spillover, a lot of misinformation, a lot of people going, they had to leave. Okay, then we're talking about from 1983 to 1993, the next batch. And then we're talking about after 1995, 96, 97, that particular batch. So that is different groups of new energies. And like I said before, if you listen closely, we don't call it energy. But I'm using energy to explain to you what other people say who we are. So you see the key is up in there. You see the translator as we learn about who we were in America, as we maintain the 7 C's and have respect for who we are wherever we were on the planet Earth. And those leaders who turned their head from the bloodline of Judah, from Sarah, the princess, from Abraham. And Abraham went and placed his seed into Ishmael, which connected us back to what they call Egypt, we call Kemet, which is actually beyond Kemet, which is Emet, which means the truth. And then the truth goes into energies and all kind of stuff. But the main objective is that we recycle, we connected, we were given who we were, right? And basically people took an oath to this new information, but the same it was a plan of elimination, a plan of what they call not depopulation, but elimination through what they would call treachery. As we were the ones who established America in 1776 and prior to that, as we was the one who gave them the laws called the Constitution, through who they call the UGLYH or the civilized tribe. But we were never the civilized tribe, we were the civilizers over those who we needed to civilize, those who were coming out of the animalistic state, those who carry the genes of fur and not hair. So we're going to end this here. I just say welcome back, year 2. Euum, spelled with an E, broke down for the fata into 3 degrees of what you can conceive.